All right, welcome back, gamers. Justin here with you again, and today we are doing sprint planning number 3. So we'll do a little bit of retro to talk about last sprint. We'll talk about this upcoming sprint, and it should be pretty quick. I also have an announcement. Let me just start there. So we have decided to bring on a community manager. So Snipey Snipes in Discord, many of you probably already know him, is going to take on the role of community manager. We are still kind of building out what that actually means, but at its core, we'll be there to act as kind of a filter between the community and the developers and myself and whatnot. We'll handle most of the day-to-day. We'll handle the expansion of the community, the moderation of the community, that type of stuff. And then where needed, we'll interact appropriately. So now by no means does that mean I'm going away. I will still continue to put out these videos, still be the narrator of all of this stuff, talk to you and interact that way. But from a community standpoint, Snipey is going to be, taking a much larger role in that regard. So we do have a lot of plans to start rolling out to some other social networks, social media networks, expanding past just Discord and Reddit and Twitter and stuff. And to that light, we are bringing on some additional help there as well. So one of them is in the form of videos. So I've been doing all of the video editing, as you can probably see, because it's pretty low quality, right? It's not my forte. It's not really what I'm great at. So we are bringing in some help to kind of spice these videos up a little bit, add a little bit more flair, if you will, to them. And, just overall improve the quality. We're also going to start working on putting together a Steam trailer. So as the game has come along far enough now, we can start to show off some of those elements. We can start to put in trailers, that type of stuff. And, just kind of overall spice up the Steam store page to help drum up some interest to the game and help kind of promote it. And, and overall, we have to do this anyways. So now is as good a time as any to get that underway. And then we're also bringing in people to start helping us create other social media accounts. One of the most, and this is probably controversial because I don't like it, but sorry for that. The TikTok. let's just start there. It's unfortunately the dominant social media platform right now, so it would be foolish for us to not join and get on that bandwagon. So, to that end, we are going to create a TikTok account. We are going to start marketing a little bit on the TikTok platform, but I am not a TikToker. So we are bringing in people who are. And so, over the coming weeks, you're going to start to see the team kind of expand a little bit. And slowly we're going to start to kind of evolve the team out and get a little bit more diverse when it comes to our skill sets. So, instead of just having developers and artists working on the game, we understand that there's this, a huge kind of marketing side to the game. And so with that, we're bringing these people on to help out with that. So, enough said there. We're 3.5 minutes in. I haven't really talked about any sprints or anything yet, so let's do that. So let me jump into Codex. And so here we are, and I want to do a quick retro to talk about our previous sprint, how it went, where we ended up, what got pushed, that kind of stuff. So we had a really productive sprint, actually, but it was over the holidays, so it wasn't as productive as I wanted. I took about 3 weeks off from my day job, my actual day job, and and so that gave me a lot of opportunity to work on this, and it was great. I have to be honest, I loved every minute of that. Not having actual responsibilities in a day and being able to sit here and just crank away on video game stuff was incredible. So, hopefully as the game gets some more exposure. More of you start coming on board. Hopefully that's something that can turn into a more routine thing. But, with that said, I was able to work in all of the networking stuff. So we are now able to network. We spawn players. We can spawn items. We have loot tables involved, although there is some work that still needs to be done there. But overall, it worked out really well. So, from a network perspective, we are able to do everything that we need to there, and we're really happy with that. We're really comfortable with how it's working. The latency times have been incredible, even with our AWS infrastructure, which goes on to the infrastructure portion of this. We did fully set up the AWS infrastructure. Now it's very small scale, right? Because it's only in development. There's nobody actually using it, but we did a ton of proof of concepts on it to make sure that it will work the way we anticipate it to. If you want more details on that, go look at the developer blog on Friday. That has a lot more details to it. Some more details. I purposely don't go too in depth on our infrastructure, mainly because it's one of those secure areas, right? It's kind of behind the scenes stuff. I will say that we have the ability to scale up. We can geographically scale. We can scale inside of individual zones, and we are fault tolerant. So we're able to kind of spin up and scale down, but then also fail over and do so relatively seamlessly. So we think we've got a good infrastructure there. We think it's going to balance the performance of the game along with the costs associated with running AWS. So, I think that we're pretty happy with that. But, as the game progresses, that may change and we may modify some of this. But overall, it's looking really well right now, and we're very pleased with that. And then the last piece was interactables. So, and again, if you go back to, I don't think it was last week, but maybe the week before's developer blog, it will talk about interactables. And I think that we're in a good place with that. We've swapped some of that out. We're now doing scriptable objects instead of abstract classes, but basically the same concept. And everything is working as anticipated and working exactly how we want it to. So I feel like we're in a good position there. So with that said, let me jump over here and talk about this upcoming sprint. So the upcoming sprint starts technically today, and we'll go until the 15th. So you can see that I've highlighted our milestone here, and the only thing we're going to work on in this particular sprint is artificial intelligence, and that has changed considerably. So initially we had some other things planned for this sprint, but what's happening is that we're getting into the game, and it's not really a game right now, right? It's a Sunshine Estates. You can run around in it. You can look at some stuff. You can fire a weapon at nothing. It will bounce off of a building and projectiles work and that kind of stuff. But that's just not really a game. So what we're going to focus on this entire sprint is creating artificial intelligence. We need to have stuff that we can actually interact with outside of just items in the game. So we are going to start to implement the different faction AIs. So that's Scrounger, Hunter, UNF, and Collectors. And then we're also doing a fifth one here, Unfactioned. And and that's just what it sounds like. It's unaffiliated or unfactioned AI. So, and that will also be a playable faction in the game. So that's for those that want a truly hardcore experience and just actually, they want no help at all from the game, or others in the game for that matter. So, but that's the goal for this. We're going to set that up. We're going to start putting in these factions into the game. We don't have their character models built out yet, but we'll simulate those, so you'll be able to see the characters running around, you'll be able to interact with them, you'll be able to shoot and kill them, they'll be able to shoot back at you and kill you, all of those great things. So, and each of these, we broke these out into different categories, or different cards in this case, because they are all slightly different. So you see that last card, this Create Base AI Scriptable Object. There may be a little bit more to that under the scenes, but ultimately we're going to create a base that all of these share, and then all of those will diverge from there. So things like Scroungers, our canon and lore behind this is that they're a little bit more of a pacifist. They don't just charge at you and kill you on sight. They kind of try to stay in the shadows a little bit. That type of stuff, and kind of same with the Collectors. Collectors are that to an extreme. But a Hunter or UNF, for example, actually, let's start with the Hunters. The Hunters are a very aggressive faction. So they basically kill you on sight if you're not in their faction. So that obviously that behavior is very different. One will, try to maybe stick to the shadows a little bit more, stay out of your path a little bit, whereas one will just straight up, almost no warning, just start hunting you down. And then UNF is very unique to all of these. So UNF is friendly as long as you are friendly. But if you are not friendly, they immediately attack. So, again, all of those are kind of unique in their own ways. Scrounger and collectors are probably the most similar, although they are different. So scroungers will be aggressive if they need to, whereas a collector will do everything they can to avoid conflict. So, again, they're all very, very different, although they do share kind of a base. They all patrol, they all try to grab loot. Those types of things. So, there's kind of this core component to AI that we can use and share across all of them. But then, on top of that, they all kind of diverge in their own way. And so that's why we've broken them out. And we've assigned a relatively high number to these as well, as far as points value. Just because each of these are going to have their own kind of intricacies and quirks and things like that we have to work through. And some of that is a little unknown right now. So some of that, we will get in there and we will start to experiment and explore and realize that maybe this doesn't work, but this does. The one thing to take away from this, though, is that we did explore basically buying AI. So there are a lot of Unity asset stores and a lot of creation items out there that will help with some of the AI behavior. Ultimately, we decided to just steer away from that. We like the fact that we can control that to know what's under the hood and that kind of stuff. So we are going to build out the AI from the ground up. We're going to learn from best practices that some of these other packages have. But ultimately, it will be something that we build ground up and that is specific to Fittest, as compared to trying to get something that was generically built and package it in or enhance it in ways that we need to. So that's kind of the goal with that. We're going to build it from the ground up. We're going to implement it the way we see fit, and that should give us a ton of control and set us up for a good place later on down the road. To where we're not trying to package and make something do something that it's not really designed to do, if that makes sense. This allows us to build it the way we need to tweak it the way we need to, and we know everything that's going on under the hood there. To make sure that it works well with our infrastructure, with our servers, that it doesn't cause huge latency spikes, and that's that type of stuff that kind of goes along with that. So that's the goal. That's what we're set up for this particular sprint. But, overall, we're really excited with the progress of the game. I think we're still on track for a May-June closed beta, somewhere in there. We may slip a little bit into June. We've been starting for May, but, I think we're probably, hopefully still on track if we can get caught up a little bit. But if not, that may slip a little bit to June. But, still looking at a closed beta sometime here in the next 5 to 6 months. So, I think we're on track. We're making good progress. Things are looking really good. We're happy with things. And that should make you happy too. So nonetheless, though, thanks for sticking around. Appreciate you watching this. Be sure to head over to Steam to wishlist the game. The link is down in the description. If you haven't already done so, come join us on Discord. Tell all your friends about this. Follow us on Twitter, Patreon, do all of the fun stuff, the social stuff, and look for a lot more of us on social. In the coming weeks. We're definitely trying to expand the team out there, as we talked about in the beginning. So, really looking forward to that. Otherwise, though, I'm not going to take up much more of your time today. Appreciate, you sticking around this long. And I will talk to you later in the week when we do developer blog number 8. So, again, thanks. Have a great week, everybody.